going to discuss simple and compound sentences. Okay, so can you see in the picture what is the boy doing here? Yes, he is reading a book, isn't it? So let us see. Ram reads a book. Now, okay, so let us look at this boy. So he is saying, I speak English. Then now, so what is the boy in the animation doing? Yes, he is riding a cycle. So let's see where he is going. He goes to school by cycle. Okay, then what can you see here? Yes, it's a map of India, isn't it? And what is there? Which place has been highlighted in the map of India? Yes, New Delhi. So let us see. New Delhi is the capital city of India. Then, okay, so what is this in the image? Can you all make out? Yes, it's a solar system, isn't it? So in the solar system, we can see this Earth, isn't it? So Earth revolves around the sun. The sun is shining brightly in the middle, and the Earth is what? Revolving around the sun. Okay, so now let us look at the sentences. Ram reads a book. I speak English. He goes to school by cycle. New Delhi is the capital city of India. Earth revolves round the sun. Okay, now let us look at these words. Reads, speak, goes, is, revolves. Okay, so what are these words? Can you say? Yes. So these are what? Verbs, isn't it? And all these sentences consist one verb each. Okay. So they are simple sentences. So why simple sentences? Now let us see what simple sentence means. A sentence consisting of only one clause that has a verb and a subject and expresses a complete thought is a simple sentence. Okay. So what has been said here? A sentence consisting of only one clause. Okay. So all these sentences consist of only one clause that has a verb and a subject. So that clause should consist of a verb and a subject and expresses a complete thought. Yes, and also that sentence has to express a complete thought. Then only it will be simple sentence. Clear? Okay. So I hope all of you have understood what simple sentence is. Now let us look at a question. Okay. So fill in the blank. Rahul dash to school. So here we have four options. Go, goes, is go, going. So I'm giving you all 30 seconds to answer this question. Okay, students, your time is up. Now, okay, so the correct answer is Rahul goes to school. That is option B. Okay, now let us move on to the next part. So what can you see in the picture? Yes, you can see a cricketer, isn't it? So let us see. Ashwin is a bowler. Next, so we can see a batsman, right? Ashwin is a batsman. So Ashwin is a bowler and Ashwin is a batsman. Now let us see. Ashwin is a bowler and a batsman. Okay, so what we can do? We can join these two simple sentences. Okay, so instead of writing Ashwin is a bowler, Ashwin is a batsman, so with the help of and the conjunction, we can join both these sentences. So Ashwin is a bowler and a batsman. Okay, now let us see. I think all of you know who this person is. Yes, Papon is a singer. Then here Papon is a judge in a music reality show. So how can we join this sentence? sentences? Yes. Papon is a singer and a judge in a music reality show. Okay, fine. Okay. So, a singer, a judge, and. Okay, so and is joining these two sentences. So now let us see, what is the old lady doing? Yes, she is carrying something on her head, isn't it? So she is carrying mud, sand. She is old. She is strong. See, though she is old, so she is carrying such a heavy basket on her head. So we can also join this sentence. How? She is old, but she is strong. Clear? Okay. Is old, is strong. But. Okay, so we are joining this with the help of but. Okay. Now here we have a short story. Let us look at it. All the wise men answered the king's question. All of them answered differently. Okay, so the king, it's not a story actually. So these are some lines from the story. So all the wise men answered the king's questions. All of them answered differently. Here also we have two sentences. So we can join these sentences. How? So let us see. All the wise men answered the king's questions, but they answered differently. Okay, so all the wise men answered the king's questions, but they answered differently. So here we have answered, answered, but. Okay, so we are joining these sentences with the help of the conjunction but. Okay, so let us look at these sentences. Ashwin is a bowler and a batsman. Papon is a singer and a judge in a music reality show. She is old, but she is strong. All the wise men answered the king's questions, but they answered differently. So a bowler and a batsman, a singer and a judge, is old but is strong, answered but answered differently. Okay, so these are these are some sentences which shows us how we can join two sentences into one single sentence with the help of conjunction. Okay, so these type of sentences are again known as compound sentences. Okay, so we had earlier learned about simple sentences, so now we have learned about compound sentences. So I hope all of you are clear with this. Okay, so now what is a compound sentence? A sentence consisting of at least two independent clauses joined by a conjunction is called a compound sentence. Okay, so what is a compound sentence? A sentence consisting of at least two independent clauses joined by a conjunction is called a compound. A sentence consisting of two independent clauses, so independent clauses are simple sentences. So joined by a conjunction. Okay, so when these two simple sentences are joined by a conjunction, it's called compound sentence. Okay, so I have a question for you all here. So all of you take out your clicker devices. Okay, so he is a good dancer, thus a singer too. Okay, so we have four options: but also, and, or. Okay, so I'll give you all 30 seconds to answer this question. Okay, students, your time is up. Okay, now let us look at this exercise we have here. So exercise 1, let's see what we have. Okay, so here a boy is studying. So Sujan learns English as well as Hindi. Okay, so Sujan learns English as well as Hindi. As well as, so here we have as well as. So what type of sentence is this? Yes, very good. So compound sentence, because here as well as is joining two sentences, isn't it? Yes. Okay. Now let's see. So what is the girl doing? Yes, see, He's singing, isn't it? So Sagarika sings Bihu songs. So here we have sings. So what type of sentence is this? Yes. So it's a simple sentence. Then Vanitha has written 10 poems. So here we have has written. So what type of sentence is this? Yes, simple sentence. Then, okay. So here Prakash has been working here since 2010. So here we have, so simple sentence. Okay. Okay, next let us see what we have. Pramod wanted to go to America. So here we have, so what type of sentence is this? Yes, simple sentence. Okay. So these are somewhat exercise that we have done. So we'll do some more questions again. So before that, let us look at this question. So identify the correct compound sentence from the sentences given below. So please look at the questions properly and try to identify the compound sentence, correct compound sentence. So I'll give you 30 seconds to answer this. Okay, students, your time is up. And the correct answer here is he plays football as well as cricket. Okay. Okay, now let us look at the next sentence. Okay, so they wanted to watch the match, but there was no electricity. Okay, so they wanted to watch the match, but there was no electricity. So what type of sentence is this? Let us see. But, we have but here. Okay, so what type of sentence do you think this is? Yes, it's a compound sentence. Okay, she is not only hardworking but also sincere. So what type of sentence is this? Yes, again we have not only but also, so this is also a what? Compound sentence. Okay, here we have a school bus. So the school bus is going towards the school, and yes, it has reached the school. So he comes to school by bus. So here we have comes. So what type of sentence is this? Yes, it's a simple sentence. Now let us look at the last one. So this man is walking, isn't it? So I walk 2 kilometers every day. So here we have walk. So what type of sentence is this? Yes, simple sentence. Okay. So I hope all of you have understood the differences. Now I have another question for you all. So all of you take out your clicker devices. Okay. She is dash only beautiful dash talented. So we have 4 options here. So all of you take 30 seconds to answer this question. Okay, students, your time is up. And the correct answer here is she is not only beautiful but also that is option A. Okay, now let us look at this. Combine the given simple sentences into compound sentences. Okay, so here we have I want to go to the town. I want to buy some ice cream. And we have, okay, so I want to go to the town. I want to buy some ice cream. So here we have and. So how are you going to join this? Let's see. So I want to go to the town and buy some ice creams. Okay. Then next, the restaurant was full. We had to wait. So here we have so. So how are we going to join this? Yes. So the restaurant was full, so we had to wait. Okay. So in this way, we are joining both the sentences. Then next, I ate some fruits. I am still hungry. So we have the conjunction but here. So let us see how to join. So I ate some fruits, but I am still hungry. Then Pretty reads novels. Pretty reads newspaper. So here we have and. Okay, so how are we going to join these? Pretty reads novels and newspapers. Okay, students? Okay, so here I have another question for you all. All of you take out your clicker devices. Okay, I was not hungry, dash, I could not eat properly. So we have four options here. But, and, so, that. Okay, so I'm giving you all 30 seconds to answer this question. Okay, students, your time is up and the correct answer here is I was not hungry, so I could not eat properly. So now let us look at the summary of today's class. Okay, so let us see what we have studied today. Simple sentences. So a simple sentence consisting of only one clause that has a verb and a subject and expresses a complete thought. Example, Namrata dances gracefully. Compound sentence. A sentence consisting of at least two independent clauses joined by a conjunction. Example, I think you would enjoy the picnic, but I don't mind if you stay at home. Okay, so I hope all of you understood whatever has been taught in today's class. So we'll meet again in the next class with a new and interesting topic. Thank you.
Good afternoon, students. Welcome to this special tele-education session. So, my dear friends, how are you all? Must be fine. I'm also fine. So, boys and girls, do you remember what we were discussing in our last sessions? You do? Good. We were discussing topics related to grammar, right? We were discussing topics related to grammar, we were discussing topics related to vocabs, and we were discussing topics related to writing as well, right? So now, continuing with the same thing, we are going to start a topic today which will give us some idea about what? About a new topic, right? Or I would say a combination of topics, 2 or 3 new topics, right? So are we all ready? Fine then. So আৰু সময় নষ্ট নকৰি let's begin our today's session. আমাৰ আজি session আৰম্ভ কৰিছো হা. So first up, what can we see? This is going to be an English language skills class, right? So what do we have here? What do we have in store? Let's see. Ah, it seems we have a nice little story, right? So the story starts like this. Wangzia laid on the ground and began to crawl forward. His clothes were torn, his knees and shoulders were bruised. Finally, he reached the end of his journey, and there he found another old monster with a brown beard and a voice like the whistling wind waiting for him. So ইয়াত আমি কি দেখিছো? আমি দেখিছো যে এইটো এটা story হয়. Story about whom? About a young boy named Wang Jia. Okay? So Wang Jia কি কৰি আছিলে? It tells us about his adventure. Wang Jia laid on the ground and began to crawl forward. His clothes were torn, his knees and shoulders were bruised. Finally, he reached the end of his journey, and there he found another old monster with a brown beard and a voice like the whistling wind waiting for him. Okay? So, based on these informations, what can we do? ইয়াত আমাৰ কাৰণে কি আছে বাৰু শিকিবৰ কাৰণে? Well, there is something for us to learn here. What's that? Let's see. First up, can you see a group of words which says crawl forward? তাৰপিছত কি আছে? Waiting for. What are these words? এই wordsবোৰ বাৰু কি হয়? কিহৰ কাৰণে আমি ইয়াক highlight কৰিছো? Well, this is something that is a mystery which will be unfolded in a few minutes to come. So let's move on to the next part of the story. Okay? The Wongjia little boy, he এটা monster face কৰিব লগা হৈছিল. A deadly, dready monster, ভয় লগা ভয়ানক দস্যু এটা face কৰিব লগা হৈছিল. But the boy was brave. So what he did, looking at him defiantly in the face, Wongjia said, "You can shout for all you are worth, but I'm fond of my own grandpa, and I'll never kill another man's." So the Wongjia told the monster, আপুনি যিমান ইচ্ছা সিমানেই ডাঙৰকে চিঞৰিব পাৰে, মই আপোনাক ভয় নকৰো, and the thing is, মই মোৰ ককাক ভাল পাওঁ, আৰু সেইকাৰণে মই আন এজন মানুহৰ ককাক হত্যা নকৰো. So, again, we have a special set of words here. What's that? First one is looking at. Second one is shout for. Then fond of is another one. এই wordsবোৰ speciality কি হয়? Well, there are a lot of things about these words. What's that? We'll find out later. But first up, let's move to the other part of the story. আমাৰ কাহিনীটোৰ নতুন পাৰ্টটোলৈকে গৈছো. ইয়াৰ পিছত কি হ'ল বাৰু? So in a fury, the old monster blew through his long beard, and Wangxia's breadbag flew into the sky. Before his eyes, the blue mountains and green rivers were turned into a boundless desert with not a scrap of food to be found. Wangxiaৰ challenging কথাখিনি শুনি the monster got angry. Monster জনৰ খং উঠি গ'ল, and he blew, ফুৱাই দিলে. And there was such a might in his blow that everything in front of him started flying. সন্মুখত যি আছিল গোটেইখিনি বস্তু উৰি গ'ল, including Wangxia and his bread bag. So now, do we have some special words here? ইয়াত কিবা special words আছে নেকি আমাৰ কাৰণে? First up, blew through. then flew into the sky, then turned into, and then not a scrap of. So এইকেইটা কি হল? These are the special words for us. এইকেইটা আমাৰ কাৰণে special words হয়. So what are we supposed to learn from this one? Moving on. So the first word is crawl forward, waiting for, looking at, shout for, blew through, flew into, turned into, not a scrap of, right? So what are these words? In every word we have seen a verb and a preposition. এটা verb আৰু এটা preposition প্ৰত্যেকটো set of words ত আছে. So these sets of words are called what? Phrases. They are called phrases. Now what is a phrase? What are the uses of a phrase? That we will discuss in a minute, right? But for now, we need to remember that these words are called phrases, right? Now, phrases are what? A group of words with a special meaning. They are a group of words which has a special meaning of their own. এই words কেইটাৰ বিশেষত্ব হ'ল যে এওঁলোকক যদি ইণ্ডিভিজুৱেলি চোৱা তেওঁলোকৰ অৰ্থটো বেলেগ থাকে বা যেতিয়া লগ লগাই দিবা তেওঁলোকৰ এটা স্পেচিয়েল বিশেষ অৰ্থ এটা আহি যায় এটা স্পেচিয়েল মিনিং আহি যায় alright and these words are called what they are called phrases find them now moving on well there is a question coming your way but right now we are not answering it আমি এইমাত্ৰ এতিয়া এই কোৱেশ্চনটোৰ উত্তৰ নকৰো we will come to that little bit later find them so let's see few more example of phrases কেইটামান phrases or আৰু example চাওঁ ah what can we see few apple fell down and something else fell the cake with nuts fell on the floor it had a line to hold the cake with nuts fell on the floor so the phrase here is with nuts the cake with nuts fell on the floor then on the floor is another one right then we can see wow what are these gift boxes right এটা gift box হয় so ইয়াত কি দেখা পাইছো the gift inside the big box is mine the gift inside the big box is mine ডাঙৰ বক্সটোৰ ভিতৰত থকা গিফ্টটো মোৰ হয় the gift inside the big box is mine so the phrase here is what inside the big box inside the big box the car beside the red one is the one I want to buy. There are few cars, two cars here. So the car beside the red one is the one I want to buy. Beside the red one. Then there is a stream here. There's a girl standing on the banks. She is trying to jump across the stream. So it should be what? Jump across. So the phrase here is jump across. Then there is someone who is singing. A little girl is singing. So Sumi, my sister with a sweet voice, sang a beautiful song. So the girl's name here is what? Her name is Sumi. My sister with a sweet voice sang a beautiful song. So yet phrase কি হয়? With a sweet voice. So ইয়াত আমি যেটো phrase বিচাৰি আছিলো সেই phrase টো হ'ল with a sweet voice. Right? What can we see? There's a deer grazing in the jungle. All right. And see who came? It's a tiger, right? And now what the tiger is doing? It's hiding itself in the jungle, right? So the tiger crouched quickly in the grass. What the tiger is doing? It's crouching quickly in the grass. So now for this one, what do we need? We need a phrase. Where is that? In the grass. The tiger crouched quickly in the grass. So now let's have a look at the list of the phrases we came across. The first one to KSL with nuts. Second one to KSL on the floor. Third one to SL inside the big box. Fourth one to hold beside the red one. Fifth one to hobo jump across. Sixth one to hobo with a sweet voice. Then the seventh one is in the grass. So these are what? Prepositional phrases. So এইকেইটা phraseৰ বিশেষত্ব কি হ'ল? They are a different type of phrase which are called what? Prepositional phrase. Alright, what is a prepositional phrase? A prepositional phrase is a series of words that made up of a preposition and its object. So এনেকুৱা এটা series of words য'ত এটা preposition আৰু তাৰ object টো থাকে, আমি সেইটো কি বুলি কওঁ? Prepositional phrases. Say for example, first word টো যদি চাওঁ না, with nuts, ইয়াত কি আছে? This is the preposition and this is the object. Preposition, the object, preposition and the object, right? Then there is another preposition and its object, a preposition and its object, a preposition and its object, a preposition and its object, right? So all these are what? Prepositional phrase. So what is a prepositional phrase? A prepositional phrase is a series of words made up of a preposition and its object, right? Yet আমি দেখিলো, where is the preposition and where is its object? So গোটেইখিনি বস্তু যেতিয়া একেলগে আহে, we call them what? Prepositional phrase. All right, now moving on. Complete these sentences choosing the correct phrase from the given list. এতিয়া আমি কি কৰিব লাগিব? We have to complete some sentences choosing the correct phrase from the given list. Okay, so what could be that? Your list includes after several attempts towards the finishing line, under the cot, in the moonlit, of the dragon, within the first few chapters. Okay, so your options of prepositional phrases are after several attempts, towards the finishing line, under the cot, in the moonlight, of the dragon, within the first few chapters. Alright, so এতিয়া আমি কি কৰিব লাগিব? We have to use them in appropriate sentences. We'll have some sentences আৰু আমি কি কৰিম তাত? Wherever it's appropriate, we will be using these phrases, right? So the extra blanket is in the box dash. The extra blanket is in the box dash. এতিয়া আমাক কি লাগে? We need to find out the whereabout of the box. Box টো ক'ত আছে? Can it be after several attempts? No. Towards the finishing lines? No. In the moonlight? No. Of the dragon? No. So the right answer here can be what? Very good. It's under the cot. The extra blanket is in the box. Where is the box? It's under the cot. The clues dash will tell us who the culprit is. Clues dash will tell us who the culprit is. তার মানে কি? Clues dash, that means it's telling us about the location of the clue, where the clue is. So where the clue can be? Can the clue be there in after several attempts? No, we are not finding the clue. Clue is already there only. Towards the finishing line? No. The right answer here would be what? Very good. It's within the first few chapters. The clues within the first few chapters will tell us who the culprit is. The clues within the first few chapters will tell us who the culprit is. They walked on the beach dash. They walked on the beach dash. কেতিয়া খোজ কাঢ়িছিল beachত? We need to have the time, right? Or a situation, right? So where it can be? Very good. In the moonlight. They walked on the beach in the moonlight. They walked on the beach in the moonlight. Thus, Wongzia was able to defeat the old monster. কেতিয়া হৰুৱাব পাৰিলে? In the story we saw the Wongzia was facing defeat. Now what can we say? We can say after several attempts, Wongzia was able to defeat the old monster. Wongzia was able to defeat the old monster after several attempts. And then racing dash, Satish realized he might win the race. Now when we are in a race, we all race towards what? Very good. Towards the finishing line. So racing towards the finishing line, Satish realized he might win the race. Tell me the story about who? Very good. Of the dragon. So the story is of the dragon because story cannot be, you know, what towards the finishing line. It has to be of someone. Of whom? Of the dragon. So these were few exercises, right? Now moving on, there is another part here. What can we see here? There is a girl sitting somewhere. There is a window behind her, and through the window we can see it's raining outside. So it was raining. I stayed at home. It was raining, so I stayed at home. Now what is the difference between these two lines? A line দুটাৰ মাজত difference কি হয়? It was two lines in the first part. It was raining. I stayed at home. Then we use something. The word here is what? This one. So after using this one, what happened? It became one line, right? It was raining, so I stayed at home. It was raining, therefore I stayed at home. Therefore I stayed at home. Why I stayed at home? It was raining. As it was raining, I stayed at home. All right, we can see three examples. I stayed at home because it was raining. We have four examples. So by using these four words, what we did, we joined two sentences and made them one. Okay, now look at the other example now. It was raining, I went for a walk. So it was raining, but I went for a walk. So what we did, we joined them by using that word but. Although it was raining, I went for a walk. We joined them again using another word. What was that? That was although. Raju worked hard. Raju didn't do well in his examination. So Raju worked hard but didn't do well in examinations. Duta line asil. What we used? We used the word but to make them one, right? Raju worked hard, yet he didn't do well in examination. Again, what we used? We used one word to make two sentences into one sentence. Then again, we have a word, although Raju worked hard, he didn't do well in his examinations. Again, what we did? We joined two sentences using one word. Though Raju worked hard, he didn't do well in his examination. Another word, what's that? It's though, right? Despite working hard, Raju didn't do well in his examinations. Another word, similar word. What's that? It's despite. Despite working hard, Raju didn't do well in his examinations. In spite of working hard, Raju didn't do well in his examination. Another word is what? In spite of, right? So, therefore, as, because, but, although, yet, though, despite, in spite of. What are these words? They are linkers. What do you call them? We call them linkers. Why linkers? Because what we saw, there were two sentences in every example. প্ৰত্যেকটো এক্সাম্পলতে দুটাকে সেন্টেন্স আছিল হয়নে নহয়? সো যেতিয়া দুটা সেন্টেন্স আছিল আমি কি কৰিছিলো এটা বস্তুকে আমি বাৰ বাৰ লিখি আছিলো তাৰপিছত কি কৰিলো we use these linkers এই linkers কেইটা ইউজ কৰি আমি কি কৰিব পাৰিলো দুটা সেন্টেন্সক আমি এটা সেন্টেন্সলৈ কনভাৰ্ট কৰি দিব পাৰিলো we were able to convert two sentences into one sentence using what using these special words so special words বিলাকক আমি কি বুলি কম We call these special words linkers, right? So, example of linkers were like what? So, therefore, as, because, but, although, yet, though, despite, in spite of. These are what? Examples of linkers. Now, what is a linker? Linkers are words or phrases that we use to link or connect ideas, right? Linkers are words or phrases that we use to link, connect, or ideas. Now, someone may raise a question, okay, what is the difference between a linkers and a conjunction, right? Well, they are somewhat similar, but with a bit of a difference. Linkers are, linkers are at times can be phrases also, which is, not generally can be said about conjunctions. Right then, so move on to the next part. So what's that? There's a paragraph coming our way. Let's have a look. In ancient days, there was a very poor area in Tibet. It had no rivers or good land, fresh flowers or green grass. The people who lived there suffered from hunger and cold all year round. They didn't know what happiness was like. They still believed that happiness must exist somewhere in the world. So the story says, in ancient days, there was a very poor area in Tibet. It had no rivers or good land, fresh flowers or green grass. The people who lived there suffered from hunger and cold all year round. They didn't know what happiness was like. They still believed that happiness must exist somewhere in the world. Now, what to do this with this one? Well, in ancient days, there was a very poor area in Tibet. It had no rivers or good lands, fresh flowers or green grass. So, or, or. The people who lived there suffered from hunger and cold all year round. So what do we have here? And then despite this, they still believe that happiness must exist somewhere in the world. So these are what? Few more examples of linkers which can be similar to conjunctions. All right now. The mountain that Wangzia saw was large. It was covered with snow. So what we can do? We are joining these two lines using a linker. So what's that linker here? It's and. The mountain that Wangzia saw was large and it was covered with snow. Now see, the Wangzia was injured by the incident. Wangzia laid on the ground, he began to crawl forward. So what we can say, Wangzia laid on the ground and began to crawl forward. So the conjunction here is what? And. So we saw him walking. His knees were bruised. He walked slowly. His knees were bruised. He walked slowly. So his knees were bruised and he walked slowly. So what happened to him? His knees were bruised and he walked slowly. So the linker that was used here is what? It's and. Very good. Now complete the sentences with suitable linkers choosing from the brackets. Now here is an exercise that we all will do together. So what are we supposed to do? These are our linkers. What are these? Linkers. They are like however, so that, although, so, despite, since. এতিয়া আমি কি কৰিব লাগিব? Using these linkers, we have to complete the sentences. So first sentence was, I was late, thus I decided to take a taxi. So what could be the answer? Very good. It's so. I was late, so I decided to take a taxi. The storm was dash terrible, dash the roofs were ripped off. So we have two ideas here. So when we have two ideas, what could be the linker? Very good. It's the storm was so terrible that the roofs were ripped off. The storm was so terrible that the roofs were ripped off. Dash we arrived late, all the best seats had been taken. Dash we arrived late, all the best seats had been taken. So what could be the word here? Very good. Since we arrived late, all the best seats had been taken. The dash car is old, it is still in good condition. So what would be the word here? Very good. Although the car is old, it is still in good condition. Although the car is old, it is still in good condition. Dares our weakness to continue to work. So what would be the word? We have seen a sentence like this. Very good. It's despite. Despite her weakness, she continued to work. She kept on working despite her illness. Right? Buying a house is expensive. Dash it is good investment. What would be that? Two opposing ideas, right? So when we join two opposing ideas, we use the word like very good. However, it is a good investment. Right then, moving on. So here's an assignment for you all. So what are you supposed to do? Use the following linkers in sentences of your own. You have to use this word despite, therefore. Use these phrases in sentences of your own to look for in order to, right? So now let's summarize before we wind up. Let's summarize whatever we have learned today. We saw some examples, some set of words like crawl forward, waiting for, looking at, shout for, blew through, flew into, turned into, not a scrap of. These phrases or group of words have what? They have a special meaning. Phrases are a group of words with a special meaning. These are a group of words with a special meaning. And what we call them? We have called them phrases, right? So they are called phrases. Then after that, it was raining, I went for a walk. It was raining, but I went for a walk. Although it was raining, I went for a walk. Then what we did here, there were two sentences. It was raining, I went for a walk. We used some special words and joined the two sentences into one. So linkers are words or phrases that we use to link or connect ideas. So what are linkers? Linkers are words or phrases that we use to link to what? Connect ideas. So this is what was linkers. Phrases were what? Group of words with a special meaning, and linkers are what? Group of words that are used to connect ideas, right? So with that, we come to the end of the session. Hope you all have understood whatever we have discussed. We'll discuss a new topic in our next session. Till then, stay safe. Thank you. Good afternoon, my dear students. Welcome to this special education session. So, how are you all? You're fine? Good. I'm also fine. So, do you remember what we discussed in our last class? You do? Very good. So, in our last meeting, in our last session, we were discussing topics related to finite and non-finite verbs, right? So, hope you remember what was a finite verb and what was a non-finite verb. You do? Very good. All right then. So now what are we supposed to do today? Well, we will be starting off with a new topic for today's session. All right? It's not that new in the sense that we'll be doing it for the first time here, but in reality, you have gone through this topic at your school level, at your schools in earlier classes. You know the content over here, you know the subject. So what are we doing? We are doing a quick revision of that. All right? So সকলো সাজু আছানে? So ready? Very good then. So তোমালোক যেতিয়া সকলো ready আৰু সময় নষ্ট নকৰি let's begin our today's session. Fine then. Here we go. So this is going to be what? A session on English language skills. So what do we have to begin with? Let's see. What do we have here? We have a nice palace. আমি ধুনীয়া ৰাজমহল এটা দেখিছো, হয়নে নহয়? So এতিয়া ৰাজমহলৰ ভিতৰত কি হৈ গ'ল? The king is sitting in his court. ৰজা তেওঁৰ ৰাজসভাত বহি আছে. Alright? So এতিয়া কি হ'ল বাৰু? Two attendants are fanning him. Okay? One day, King Akbar was sad. So this is the court of King Akbar. মহাৰাজ আকবৰৰ এইটো ৰাজসভা হয়. Alright? So এদিনাখন কি হ'ল? He was sad. তেখেত বহুত দুখী আছিল. Your Majesty, why are you sad? So one of his courtiers asked, Your Majesty, why are you sad? মহাৰাজ আপুনি ইমান দুখী কিয়? Seeing the king sad, courtiers also became sad. So who asked him? Maybe Birbal, right? So Your Majesty, why are you sad? মহাৰাজ আপুনি ইমান দুখী কিয়? With a heavy heart, দুখেৰে ৰজাই ক'লে, I lost my ring. It was my father's gift. Will you help me find it? মই মোৰ আঙুঠিটো হেৰুৱাই পেলালো. এইটো মোৰ দেউতাৰ উপহাৰ আছিল. তুমি মোক এইটো বিচাৰি পোৱাত সহায় কৰিবা জানো? Will you help me? কৰিবা বাৰু? Don't worry, Your Majesty. I'll find the ring right now. So the person, maybe it's Birbal, probably Birbal was very confident. He ক'লে চিন্তা নকৰিব মহাৰাজ, মই আপোনাৰ আঙুঠিটো এতিয়াই বিচাৰি উলিয়াম. Don't worry, Your Majesty. I'll find your ring right now. Okay, now he tells the king, Your Majesty, the ring is here in this court itself. It is with one of the courtiers. মহাৰাজ, আপোনাৰ আঙুঠিটো এই ৰাজসভাতে আছে আৰু এই ৰাজসভাৰ সভ্য এজনৰ লগত আছে. The courtier who has a straw in his beard has your ring. Someone with a straw in the beard has the ring. Then what happened? One man checked his beard. Sirs, this man, he has the emperor's ring. So what happened? The king said, Sirs, this man, he has the emperor's ring. Okay, so what he did? He said there's a straw in his beard. So this man checked his beard, and that was enough for the clever Birbal to find out who the thief was. So he said, Sirs, this man, he has the emperor's ring. So Hindi ta kotha ase sur ki dari mein tinka. It's the example of that. Okay, Your Majesty, here is the ring. So he took the ring to the king. I'm really grateful to you. All right now. It was my father's gift. The first sentence we came across here was stated by the king himself, who said, It was my father's gift. Now what can we say about this? It's what? It's a statement. It was my father's gift. This line was nothing but a statement. It was a বক্তব্য আছিল made by the king. ৰজা এটা বক্তব্য ৰাখিলে যে this ring was my father's gift. So it was a statement. Why are you sad? This is something asked what? Asked by whom? The courtier, probably Birbal, asking, why are you sad? So what is happening here? Will you help me find it? This is something the king asked Birbal, will you help me find it? These are what? They are asking questions. So এইকেইটা হ'ল examples of asking questions. Right? এইকেইটা প্ৰশ্ন সুধিছে। এই বাক্যকেইটাত কি হৈছে? এই sentence কেইটাত কি হৈছে? A question is being asked. এটা প্ৰশ্ন সোধা হৈছে। প্ৰথমটো কি আছিল? প্ৰথম সেন্টেন্সটো আছিল য'ত এটা বক্তব্য আছিল, কোনোবাই কিবা এটা উত্তৰ দিছিল। দ্বিতীয় সেন্টেন্স কেইটা কি হ'ল? ইয়াত প্ৰশ্ন সোধা হৈছে। Now let's see what next we have. Sirs dismanned. Sirs dismanned. এই মানুহজনক বিচৰা। এইটো কি হ'ল? এইটো এটা আদেশ দিছে, হয়নে নহয়? It's a command. Birbal ordered his soldiers to search a particular man. So এজন মানুহক কি কৰিব কৈছিল? তাৰাচি ল'ব কৈছিলে। So it's a command. So what is this? It's a command. It's an order or a command. I'm really grateful to you. I'm really grateful to you. মই তোমাৰ প্ৰতি সঁচাকৈ কৃতজ্ঞ। So what is this? It's expressing emotion. Expressing what? Emotions. ভিতৰত যিটো অনুভূতি আছে, অনুভৱ আছে, সেইখিনি এক্সপ্ৰেছ কৰিছে। Alright? So এতিয়া আমি কি দেখিলো? আমি চাৰিটা ধৰণৰ sentences দেখিলো। প্ৰথমতে কি আছিল? Made a statement. এটা বক্তব্য ৰাখিছিল। হয়নে নহয়? দ্বিতীয়টোত কি হ'ল? প্ৰশ্ন সুধিলে। থাৰ্ডটোত কি হ'ল? আদেশ দিলে। এতিয়া ফোৰ্থটোত কি হৈছে? অনুভৱবোৰ বুজাইছে। Right? So these are what? These are called types of sentences. আমি চাৰিটা প্ৰকাৰৰ বাক্য দেখিলো। এই চাৰিটা প্ৰকাৰৰ বাক্যক একেলগে আমি কি বুলি ক'ব পাৰো? Together we can call them types of sentences. So types of sentences are what? There are basically four types of sentences. চাৰিটা টাইপৰ sentences থাকে. So what are those? First one is an assertive sentence. Second one is an interrogative sentence. Third one is an imperative sentence. Then fourth one is an exclamatory sentence. Excuse me. So আমি কি দেখিলো? আমি দেখিলো যে চাৰিটা টাইপৰ sentences থাকে. First one is an assertive sentence. Second one is an interrogative sentence. Third one is an imperative. And the fourth one is an exclamatory sentence. Right? So what are these? A sentence বোৰৰ function কেনেকুৱা হয়? কোনটো ধৰণৰ বাক্য কোনটো sentence টাইপত পৰিব? Let's learn that. So here is a question coming your way, but we are not answering it now. We'll move on to the next part. So what can we see here? What's that? This is the map of India, isn't it? It is Bharator Manchitra, isn't it? So New Delhi is the capital of India. Notun Delhi Bharator Rajdhani. New Delhi is the capital of India. Etia etu ki type of bakya hoy? I'll come to that. But now what can we see? We can see a man drawing a picture of a dog. So Ram paints beautifully. He made a beautiful painting, right? So we can say Ram paints beautifully. The bus came. The bus stops here. Okay, bus ko nahi bus stop par rokhe. So the bus stops here. Bus stops at this point. So the first line was New Delhi is the capital of India. Ram paints beautifully. The bus doesn't stop here. The sentences which make statements or assertions are known as a sentence keta ki hoy? A sentence keta ki korise? They make statements. Ekota boktobyo rakhe ba eta assertion diye, right? So ene kisuman jot information diye ba kisuman boktobyo rakhe ba kisuman kotha hobo boli koy. those type of sentences which make statements or assertions, they are called what? They are called assertive sentences. So আমি চাৰিটা type of sentence দেখিছিলো. প্ৰথমটো আছিল assertive. So with assertive sentence, this kind of sentences will fall in this category of assertive sentences. Sentences that gives information or make a statement or makes an assertion. So this kind of statements are called assertive statements. What do we call them? Very good. We call them assertive sentences. Okay, moving forward. All right, now what can we see next? We can see a nice drawing room where two persons are sitting in front of a TV and probably they are watching a cricket match on TV. Okay, দুজন ব্যক্তি এটা ড্ৰয়িং ৰুমত বহি আছে টিভিৰ সন্মুখত আৰু টিভিৰ সন্মুখত বহি হয়তো তেওঁলোকে মেচ চাই আছে। সো এতিয়া ইয়াত আমাৰ কাৰণে কি আছে? What an interesting match. What an interesting match. এখন কেনেকুৱা interesting match? Look at this word. We have talked about punctuations earlier. This is what? This is an exclamation mark. We can see a massive storm coming up. So what a terrible storm. What a terrible storm. Again, the thing to look for here is what? This exclamation mark. What a terrible storm. Okay, so the baby is playing with the doll. How cute the baby is. How cute the baby is. So again, I'll draw your attention to this mark. What is that? It is the exclamation mark hoy bhabodak sin hoy, right? So what an interesting match. What a terrible storm. How cute the baby is. What is common here? In all these sentences, the common thing is the exclamation mark. যিটো ভাৱবোধক mark আছে সেইটোৱে common বস্তু হয় ইয়াত, isn't that? So sentences that expresses strong feelings are called, এনেকুৱা sentences যিবিলাক এটা strong feeling এটা express কৰে, খুব strong emotion ভাৱ এটা express কৰে, we call them what? We call them exclamatory sentences. So sentences that express strong feelings are called, what are they called? Very good. Sentences that express strong feelings are called exclamatory sentences. They are called exclamatory sentences. So now, we can see two person here. One elderly gentleman approaching a boy, এজন জ্যেষ্ঠ ব্যক্তি ল'ৰাজনৰ ওচৰলৈ আহিলে। So ল'ৰাজনে ক'লে, hello uncle. Hello Mohan, what are you doing? So the person then asked Mohan, hello Mohan, what are you doing? I'm preparing for a speech competition. So Mohan said, I'm preparing for a speech competition. Oh, that's great. When is the competition? Tomorrow, uncle. Okay, do well. So, what can we see here? We saw a conversation happening between Mohan and his uncle. So, when his uncle approached, Mohan Mohan greeted him saying, hello uncle. Then his uncles replied, greeted him back saying, hello Mohan, what are you doing? Hello Mohan, ki kori asa tumi? Then Mohan replied, I'm preparing for a speech competition. Moi eta boktita protijogitar karone prostuti cholai asu. So then uncle said, oh, that's great. When is the competition? So uncle said, that's great. When is the competition? In fact, uncle inquired, when is the competition? To which Mohan replied, tomorrow, uncle. So then uncle wished him, okay, do well. All right. So now, what is in it for us? A sentence ketar amar karone ki ase bol? Well, we have something. What's that? First up, what are you doing? And then when is the competition? So in these two sentences, there is something common for us. What's that? These two things are the common things here. What are these? The first thing, these two are what? Question marks. And then we have two WH words. So WH words are basically what? Question mark, question words. Words like when, what, where, why, who, which. These six WH words are basically what? They are used as asking questions. They are used for asking questions. So we can call them question words. And then after that, আমি কি দেখিছো সেন্টেন্সৰ এন্ডত কি আছে প্ৰশ্নবোধক চিন কোটা আছে isn't that so যদি প্ৰশ্নবোধক চিন আছে এটুক আমি কি বুলি ক'ব পাৰো we can simply say কি বাক্যকাতাই প্ৰশ্ন সুধি আছে isn't that so sentences which ask questions এনেকুৱা বাক্যবোৰ যিবিলাকে প্ৰশ্ন সোধে are called what interrogative sentences so in this sentence what happened there were questions asked যিবিলাক বাক্যত প্ৰশ্ন সোধা হয় এই সেন্টেন্স বিলাকক কি বুলি কোৱা যায় the sentences where questions are asked they are called interrogative sentences so আমি কি দেখিলো assertive দেখিলো then we saw exclamatory now we are seeing an interrogative sentence right so here is an exercise for you all who what where when whose which why and how who are you so it's what a question mark over here what what are you doing again a question mark where where are my keys another question mark when when is the test another question mark then whose book is this another question mark which which of these is the tallest another question mark why why are you late another question mark how how many pencils are there another question mark so এইকেইটা প্ৰশ্নত কি হয় what is special about these words are all mostly followed by a question mark so that means what they are something that begins a question এই word কেইটাই কি হয় এনেকুৱা কিছুমান word হয় যিটোৱে question ৰ আৰম্ভণি ঘটায় so these words are called what interrogative sentences this is an example of interrogative sentences and these words are called WH words or question words. Now moving on, do you like chocolates? A question has been asked. Do you like chocolates? তুমি chocolates ভাল পোৱা নে? Are you going to the market? Another question has been asked. Do you want something to drink? Another question has been asked. Right? Do you like chocolates? Do you want something to drink? Are you going to the market? These are what? Examples of, did you watch the yesterday's match? These are what? Examples of questions. Questions are being asked in this sentence. But at a difference as here. What is that? Difference to whole at a sentence so WH word number one, isn't that? So we can safely say that we can have interrogative questions even without using the WH questions, right? So all WH question, all sentences starting with a WH word are questions, but all question sentences are not starting with WH words. Okay, we can safely say कि সকলো WH wordৰে আৰম্ভ হোৱা sentence question interrogative sentence হয়, but সকলো interrogative sentence WH question wordৰে আৰম্ভ নহয়. So these are what? Another example of interrogative sentences. Interrogative sentenceত কি হৈ আছে? ইয়াত প্ৰশ্ন সোধা হৈ আছে, right? Now moving on. Now we can see a nice room where two persons are standing. চামাচোন এতিয়া এওঁলোকৰ মাজত কি কথোপকথন চলি আছে, তেওঁলোকে কি ডিসকাস কৰি আছে. May I go and visit my friend today? So boy is asking a question. May I go and visit my friend today? মই আজি গৈ মোৰ বন্ধুজনক লগ কৰিব পাৰিম নেকি? Okay, but be careful while crossing the road. So this is probably his mother. His mother advised him, okay, চোৱা, but be careful while crossing the road. She gave him a warning. What's that? Be careful while crossing the road. ৰাস্তাটো পাৰ হওঁতে সাৱধান হবা. Okay, mom, I will thank you. So the boy said, okay, I will thank you. You must return home before 6 o'clock. Then there was another warning. Okay, you must return home before 6 o'clock. 6 বজাৰ আগতে তুমি ঘৰলৈ উভতি আহিব লাগিব. বন্ধুক লগ কৰিব যাব বিচাৰিছা, যোৱা, ৰাস্তাটো সাৱধানে পাৰ হবা আৰু 6 বজাৰ আগতে উভতি আহিব লাগিব. So the boy says, sure. So, would you please give me a glass of water? It's a request. Be careful while crossing the road. It's an advice. You must return home before 6 o'clock. This is what? This is a command. Okay? So, request, advice, and command. এতিয়া আমি তিনিটা বস্তুৰ এক্সাম্পল দেখিলো. প্ৰথমটো আছিল, would you please give me a glass of water? Even though it looks like a question, but in reality it's not a question, এইটো এটা ৰিকুৱেষ্ট হয়. অনুগ্ৰহ কৰি এক গিলাচ পানী দিব নেকি? এইটো প্ৰশ্ন নহয়, এইটো এটা ৰিকুৱেষ্ট হয়, right? Be careful while crossing the road. ৰাস্তা পাৰ হওঁতে সাৱধান হবা. এইটো কি হয়? It's an advice, এইটো এটা উপদেশ হয়. You must return home before 6 o'clock. 6 বজাৰ আগতে তুমি উভতি আহিব লাগিব. What's that? It's a command. So, request, advice, and command, these type of sentences are called what? Imperative sentences. So a sentence that talks about request, a sentence that talks about an advice, or a sentence that talks about a command is what? Is an imperative sentence. A sentence is making a request can be an imperative sentence. A sentence giving advice can be an imperative sentence. আৰু এনেকুৱা এটা sentence যিটোৱে আদেশ দিছে, command কৰিছে, সেইটো কি হ'ব পাৰে? এইটো হ'ব পাৰে an imperative sentence. So let's see. No parking. It's what? It's a command. Sham, what are you doing here? I'm looking for the Mahabharata. Please help me find it. So Ramya says, Sham, what are you doing here? Sham replies, I'm looking for the Mahabharata. Please help me find it. Look at the last part. Please help me find it. Mahabharata বিচাৰি আছো. Please help me find it. So they have used the word please. So তাৰ অৰ্থ কি হয়? অনুগ্ৰহ কৰি মোক এইটো সহায় কৰি দিয়ক. So it's a request, right? So it's a request. Now moving on. May I come in, sir? So boy is begging permission. May I come in, sir? Yes, come in, Gagan. Sir says, yes, come in, Gagan. So why were you absent yesterday? He was asked why he was absent yesterday. I wasn't well yesterday, sir. So the boy replied he wasn't well yesterday. What happened? Are you okay now? I had a stomachache. I'm okay now. I have taken the medicines. You must eat clean and healthy food. Sure, sir. So, why were you absent yesterday? Now, you have to tell me what type of a sentence is this. Is this an imperative sentence, assertive sentence, exclamatory sentence, or an interrogative sentence? Yet hoise ki? Yet huda hoise, why were you absent yesterday? So it would be what? Very good. An interrogative sentence. Question or every question is an interrogative sentence. Are you okay now? What would be this now? Imperative, assertive, exclamatory, and interrogative. Very good. Again, an example of an interrogative sentence. Are you okay now? You must eat clean and healthy food. You must eat clean and healthy food. What is that? Imperative, assertive, exclamatory, or interrogative? কি হয় বাৰু? এইটো এটা উপদেশ দিছে, হয় নে নহয়? তুমি পৰিষ্কাৰ পৰিচ্ছন্ন আৰু healthy foods khaba. So you must eat clean and healthy food. So when someone is giving an advice, it will be what? Very good. It's going to be an imperative sentence. What is that? It's an imperative sentence. So keep silence. So probably we are in a library. Keep silence is what? It's an example of an imperative sentence. So now here is an assignment for you all. So what are you supposed to do? Write two examples for each type of sentences. We have discussed some types of sentences. How many? Very good. We discussed about four types of sentences: assertive sentences, interrogative sentences, then imperative sentences, and exclamatory sentences, right? So we discussed four types of sentences. So the assignment for you now is to write two examples for each type of sentences. প্ৰত্যেকটো type of sentenceৰ কাৰণে দুটাকৈ example লিখিব লাগিব, right? So now let's summarize before we wind up. Let's summarize whatever we have learned today. We learned about what? Types of sentences. So types of sentences is basically what? An assertive sentence. What is an assertive sentence? An assertive sentence is something যিটোৱে আমাক এটা ইনফৰমেশ্যন দিয়ে বা এটা ষ্টেটমেণ্ট দিয়ে, যিটোৱে আমাক ইনফৰমেশ্যন দিয়ে বা বক্তব্য ৰাখে, আমি এইটো কি বুলি কওঁ? We call it an assertive sentence. Then interrogative sentence কি হয়? এনেকুৱা বাক্য যিয়ে প্ৰশ্ন উঠে. The sentences that are asking questions are what? Interrogative sentences. তাৰপিছত কি আহি গ'ল? Imperative sentence. So imperative sentence কি আছে? Request, then advice and command, right? So any sentence that requests something, gives an advice, or give you an order, they are what? Examples of imperative sentences. And then finally, we have exclamatory sentences. So what is an exclamatory sentence? Exclamatory sentence will এনেকুৱা এটা sentence which expresses our emotions. Whatever feelings, whatever emotions we have, a sentence that expresses our emotions. ভাল লাগিছে, বেয়া লাগিছে, happy, sad, whatever it is, all these emotions, the sentence that shows all those emotions, that is called what? An exclamatory sentence. So assertive sentence makes a statement, interrogative sentence asks a question, imperative sentence so shows a request, an advice, or a command, whereas an exclamatory sentence does what? It expresses our emotions. So these four are what? Types of sentences that we discussed today. Hope you all have understood, and even if you have studied it earlier, সেইটোৱে আশা কৰিছোঁ চব গোটেইখিনি বস্তু ৰিভাইজ কৰি দিছে. So with that note, we'll see a few more examples. New Delhi is the capital of India. That is an example of what? Assertive sentence. What an interesting match. An exclamatory sentence example. Where are my keys? It's an interrogative sentence. You must return home before 6 o'clock. An example of an imperative sentence. Right then? So we'll wind up here. We'll see you next time with a different topic. Thank you.